Well, that went a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The people in there were so nice and really helpful, and it took literally like 2 minutes. So I'd say people should definitely vote because it takes no time whatsoever.
In the UK, women finally succeeded in obtaining the vote in 1918, and for all over 21 in 1928. Italy only obtained the vote for women in 1945. How good are equal opportunities today? In the UK, only 22% of members of parliament are women. In Sweden, it is 47%. Italy has never had more than 23%. And in the European Parliament, only 33% of MEPs are women.
In Stockholm's Swedish Life Museum, we see glimpses of the rough, squalid lives of the peasant alongside the luxurious splendour of kings and aristocracy. Consider the evidence of the exploitation of ordinary people in the textile industry of Norrköping, in the modern setting of attractive museums and entertainment.
Norrköping has been made a very agreeable town to visit thanks to heavy European funding, and there is a place where there was a textile factory, an attractive museum and a statue to the women and girls who used to work there. In Norrköping, we questioned women about conditions today. We found that family life and childcare are now of the highest quality.
As a working mother, how would you rate it in comparison to England?
I would say it's much easier to be a working mother here. It's much more accepted.
The women today have the same position as men, and but in daily life it's difficult to make a family.
To our surprise, we discovered that sometimes there were discrepancies in equal pay for women. In the UK, the Equal Pay Act was passed in 1970, and the first profession to implement this act was the teaching profession.
You know, the payment isn't equal because men they earn more.
Every newspaper has a document required by law, as all workplaces, on how to treat the equality question.
I had a colleague and he had like 2 times more than me, and we did equal work, and he was male, of course, male. There are fewer men in schools, so therefore I think we earn more.
At the Council of Europe in Strasbourg, we spoke to Alan Drake.
The Council of Europe's main function is to promote democracy, human rights and the rule of law in Europe. Democracy means things like free and fair elections and a free media. The human rights means obviously protecting people's human rights, like the right to life, the right to a family life, the right to private property, all kinds of different human rights. And the rule of law regards that justice should be equal for all. So that, in other words, whether you're black or white or gay or straight, there shouldn't be any difference in the way that you're treated before a court of law. And there's no way to corrupt a judge or a policeman. The Council of Europe is completely separate from the European Union. They are 2 different organisations, although they do share the same flag, which was in fact given to the European Union by the Council of Europe in 1986. And that leads to some confusion. In fact, the 2 organisations do cooperate, they do work towards common goals, and they do indeed cooperate on certain projects together. The European Union, you could say, is about standard of living issues, how much you earn, how good your job prospects are, what currency you use when you make a transaction. Council of Europe is more about quality of life issues, how we treat each other, do we respect each other, are people treated equally across the European space of the 47 member states that we have.
Employers have to value the contribution of young people. And what's really quite funny is that there's some areas, like technology, the young people are just like that. I mean, it absolutely is a nothing.
In England there is a large gap between rich and poor, but we think that there should be fairer wages, so people's wages are more similar, so that everyone can have the same standard of living.
In Liverpool, we catch sight of the huge accumulations from the slave trade, evidenced by its waterfront splendour. The Albert Dock is now transformed into a tourist attraction thanks to Europe.